Okay, so I want you guys to start telling a little bit about your story. How did you two meet? And I want to know the backstory on how you started dating.
How did we meet? Okay, well, wait, go ahead.
No, I love for Jim to tell the story because I like to interject.
Yeah.
Which is a really...
Are you saying there might be some inaccuracies?
What it's really
that
called
you have to
Sure. And
likes
I
to
feel
correct.
very comfortable jumping in and...
Yeah, so
just
it was
add.
actually really awesome for me because that was an area of my life. I did play football, and I had no boundaries. I was living with my brother in high school, so I'd go out to play football Friday night, and I'd say to him, what time do you want me home tonight? And he'd say, yeah, try to be home by 2, 3 in the morning. And I'd go, oh, okay, I'll try to stay out that late. So that was the environment I was in high school. So that area of my life was something that God had to get some discipline in me. And so for 2 years, I actually didn't date. I chose to just not date anybody because it was a dangerous area for me. And so I was moving ahead thinking, okay, the Lord's going to let me go through life single. And I was very eager. I was like, Lord, I'll do it if I can, I'll do it for you. And it's like I let it go, the desire at that point to be married. And then I studied in Japan, and the guy, my best friend, I was the best man at his wedding. He and his wife, who was Jean's good friend, they said these two would make a great couple, and so we met at their wedding. Now, the spiritual side of this, am I getting it right so far?
Yes,
Okay,
that's pretty good.
So the spiritual side of this, what was really interesting, I wasn't dating, I was 24, I played football, and I was at this church, and this pastor came up to me and he said, I have a word from the Lord for you. Anybody ever gone through that? And I'm going,
That's like pretty much all of us, Jim.
Yeah.
All of us have been given words.
Yeah,
from
so,
people.
Yeah, and he came up to me and he said, hey, I think the Lord's really impressed me to tell you this, that he's got your mate picked out for you, and she's going to have a heart for the things of God. And I'm like, do we stone false prophets today? I mean, seriously, I was thinking that. That's a horrible admission, given the position I'm in now. But I thought the guy was totally cuckoo. And, but you know what is amazing? And he gave me a couple of other tidbits that didn't relate to that. But he just said, your wife is going to have a thing, or a heart for the things of God. And that was a Wednesday night. I have not dated for 2 years. I went to the wedding that following Saturday, and that's where Jean was. And when she left the wedding, I turned to a friend of mine, Vic Schrenzel, who studied with me in Japan, and I just said to him, I think that's the woman I'm going to marry. Now, Jean could tell this part of the story because she wasn't dating anybody.
Which, let me just interject, like, okay, no one wants to hear that story, Jim. We're all like, okay, who receives the word, whatever.
Oh, I know, it's bizarre.
I know.
I mean,
okay.
It could have been the green bananas, but it worked for me.
I know, it did. It worked for Jim. I totally believe that this is legit, and so that's good. And the only thing that makes it redeemable, because I didn't want this to be an easy story for you. I'm so vindictive.
Wow.
I know. I'm so vindictive. Is that, you still had to continue. You had to pursue. You had to
big
continue.
time.
Yeah.
She didn't get the same word.
Okay. So what was your word, Jean?
Run!
Well, and I too was not dating, but it was for a little bit different reason. I hadn't dated for about a year and a half. I was tired of breaking up with guys. And I was tired of going out with guys that I wasn't going to marry. And I used to joke that, oh my goodness, find someone that you want to spend your lifetime with. I can't find anyone I want to spend more than 8 hours with. So, and I said to the Lord, I don't want to date again unless it's going to be my future husband. And if I'm not supposed to be married, help me not to date. So I wasn't dating. We meet at this wedding, and unbeknownst to me until that night, the groom and my girlfriend, who was getting the bride, the groom was so consumed with getting
At his wedding.
Jim and me together at his wedding.
It was like freaky.
And I was there with my best guy friend at
Right.
the wedding. It really was.
Dave Franco, I know his name.
Really was my best guy friend. And the groom was trying to get us to dance, and because we were both in the wedding party, and we did dance one dance together. And I'll tell you, there was nothing. There was nothing. Nothing.
That's not how I remember it.
Okay.
So
But
it's
again-
obviously just shocking that you guys even got married.